Good afternoon and welcome to the Marketplace. My name is Charles Aite. Coming up, President Akufo-Addo appeals to Finance Ministry and the Public Interest and Accountability Committee to revive their quarterly meetings and dialogue to ensure efficient management of petroleum revenue. Also, NBSSI partners private sector to create stronger institutions for SMEs as Access Bank Graphic Business SME Clinic takes off. And later, commercial banks overtake multilateral borrowings as biggest share of the country's external debt stock. We have all these stories and more coming up shortly. My name is Charles Aite. This day. President Akufo-Addo has appealed to the Finance Ministry and the Public Interest and Accountability Committee to revive their quarterly meetings, which has been on hold for some time now, and of course dialogue better management of petroleum revenue and resources. According to him, his government is fully committed to PAG activities, ensuring petroleum revenue management is well managed to the benefit of all Ghanaians. He was speaking at the 10th anniversary of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee.
Budgetary allocations of PAG have been released to enable it to undertake its activity. In 2020, for example, an amount of 3,100,000 cedis was given to PAG, with 2,350,000 cedis set to be released for this year, in spite of the pandemic. Indeed, the committee used a part of its 2018 budgetary allocation to procure its current office building at East Legon in Accra, which brought an end to the era of evictions and threats of evictions by landlords. For as long as I remain president, support to PAG will be forthcoming and on time. I will, in conclusion, urge the Ministry of Finance and PAG to rekindle the holding of their quarterly meetings to ensure that issues of mutual interest and concern are addressed through dialogue. I also appeal to PAG and its publications to help provide the general public with a better understanding of how petroleum revenue resources are managed and clarify swiftly its position on matters should it be misconstrued in the media space. As we celebrate 10 years of PAG, I encourage the committee, now more than ever, to continue to engage government and relevant stakeholders and help work towards the economic transformation of Ghana through the efficient use of our hydrocarbon resources. Government is committed to its continued solidarity with PAG and assures it of government's considerable interest in all of its activities. I'm hopeful that the cooperation between government and PAG will be deepened even further in the coming years for the goal of a united, progressive, and prosperous Ghana. I wish the new executives of PAG well, and I'm confident that they will work to enhance its reputation even more.
President Akufo-Addo there. Away from that, the country's micro, small and medium enterprise sector will receive an improvement in services from a stronger partnership between government and the private sector. The agenda, which is being championed by the National Board for Small-Scale Industries, now the Ghana Enterprise Agency, is aimed at making the sector a stronger pillar to economic growth. Executive Director of the agency, Kosi Yankee, hinted that such collaboration are needed to transform the economy. She was speaking at the Access Bank Graphic Business SME Clinic in Accra.
The world has changed. Data is key. And it's through technology that you can use this data to really analyze and boost your SMEs across the nation and then turn them into that engine of growth that we've talked about for many years. Through the digital solutions, we were able to save in excess of 600,000 jobs. And this was all done, and all these analysis was done because we also had digital solutions to build on the work that we have done. We cannot underestimate the work that we've done. And we can't underestimate the fact that to be able to boost this SME resilience, we need digital solutions. We did not end there with a technology platform. We realized that for our SMEs to be able to survive and work, we needed to collaborate and work with partners to provide them access to these digital solutions that would also build their businesses and support us in what we wanted to do, build the MSMEs engine for growth for this nation. So through our partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, we've implemented so many other programs. Now, NBSSI is known for only giving access to finance, but our work really, the crux of our work is business development support. And business development support today is hinged on digital solutions, providing platforms where businesses can learn and build their businesses and build their capacity and that of their staff. That is where we're moving to. That builds resilience. Providing solutions through our MasterCard Foundation, yes, providing access to finance. Through our Nkosua Fund, previously our Domain and Idasua funds, more than ever before, to ensure that at the end of the day, the SME's resilience is boosted. We can't underestimate that. Most importantly is our partnership with GIZ quite recently, where we decided that, yes, people produce what's next. And the easiest and the best foundation to build that SME resilience is through a digital platform to be able to access markets they've never accessed before, locally, internationally, regionally. Now there's AFTAC, there's so many other programs. So in partnership with GIZ, we're piloting a program to digitize up to 500 growth-oriented SMEs in this nation. And in turn, hope that will turn into job creation.
Well, the Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries, Chuma Kwabwa, also urged government to prioritize digital infrastructure in all parts of the country to support the integration of growth among SMEs.
Many people will tell us, if you have even WhatsApp groupings, it's a marketing tool. Everything you do on phone, on computer, basic computer, you may have to be able to acquire it. You have to join networks as well. Within AGR, for example, we have about 23 different sectors. Each of these sectors have their own groupings. Each of the groupings, we are creating WhatsApp groups, network groups. You can make use of this platform to market your products. So you don't just stay in your corner and think that you can do business and do it to the very best of your ability and make all the money. You cannot. It is very important that we join networks. Let's be part of the system. Don't let us stay away. So those of you who came here and those of you who have tuned in and listening, I think it's a good platform for you to get knowledge that there are opportunities out there that you can indeed explore. I think that in doing this, as an advocate, we also look at issues that government also has a role to play. And I think that we need to really partner government and work towards reducing the cost of data. I think cost of data in this country is too expensive. I think it is something that has to be explored and looked at.
And of course, the theme for the clinic is boosting SME resilience with digital solutions. Well, away from that, the Minister for Trade and Industry, Alan Tremantin, has defended the 2021 budget and economic policy, stating that it is the best to push Ghanaian businesses ahead of their African counterparts trading within the Continental Free Trade Agreement area. According to him, the suspension of tax stamp for small businesses and other initiatives in the budget will help create a conducive business environment. He was speaking at the Economic Dialogue on the 2021 budget organized by auditing firm Deloitte.
Above, there are other specific programs and policy interventions that have been outlined in the 2021 budget, which will complement the existing policy interventions that I've just referred to. These include the following: the establishment of the Development Bank of Ghana to improve access to medium to large-scale project financing. Secondly, continue the interest rate subsidy incentive for one district, one factory companies to enhance access to affordable credit. Thirdly, the establishment of a domestic credit rating agency to assist firms with access to capital. 4, the implementation of new initiatives to support the Ghana stock market by helping to attract capital for Ghanaian businesses, including the deepening of the stock exchange and partnering with fintechs to bring trading of securities to the doorsteps of the Ghanaian business. 5, suspend income tax stamp payments for small businesses to improve their cash flow, which will increase their working capital and provide an inclusive environment for micro, small, and medium enterprises. 6, waiver of penalty and interest on accumulated tax arrears to reduce cash flow challenges. 7, support to be provided to commercial farming and plantation to enhance access to agricultural raw materials for processing and value addition. Government will procure agricultural machinery and equipment worth about $30 million for distribution to farmers to improve mechanization for agriculture.
And that's the Trade Minister, Alan Chamantin. You're still watching The Marketplace with me, Charles Aite. Commercial loans have now overtaken multilateral borrowings as the biggest share of the country's external debt stock. Now, this was contained in the latest Public Debt Statistical Bulletin. The development may pose a major challenge for managers, especially in these difficult times of COVID. George Rafi has the rest of the story.
The report revealed that as at the end of last year, the share of commercial debt increased substantially compared to multilateral debt. It jumped from 37% in 2017 to 51% in 2020 in terms of its share of the external debt. This, government says, was purely as a result of the Eurobond borrowings over the past years. For instance, in 2020, government signed 26 new loans totaling $1.84 billion in addition to the $3 billion Eurobond issued in February 2020. Government has argued that transition from a developing to a low-middle-income country with little donor support pushed it to the commercial market. According to the 2021 budget, Ghana's total debt stood at 292 billion Ghana cedis. The development is worrying, especially at the time that the World Bank has warned that Ghana is not raising enough revenue to service its external debt stock. This, according to the World Bank, could push it into a debt-distressed country. The situation is expected to be compounded by the fact that government is currently working to issue a $5 billion Eurobond in the coming days. Unlike these multilateral debts that can be renegotiated or payment deferred, the same cannot be said about these external private investors who will be demanding their monies when the time is due. Another revelation from this report was the fact that 70% of the external loans were denominated in dollars, putting further pressure on government on firmly stabilizing the Ghana cedi or risk interest payment hitting the roof. But why has the rising debt stock been a big deal? Well, if these funds borrowed are not invested in self-financing projects, the monies meant for the initiative could be sacrificed in servicing these debts. The 2021 budget showed that interest payments has now become the biggest spending item on government expenditure for this year, something that should get managers of the economy worried.
Well, government could make some savings from interest payments if its securities, including treasury bill rates, continue to go down while exchange rates remain stable. Now, this will also help narrow the financing gap of about 11.7% and put the fiscal economy on a better footing. Over 35 billion cedis out of the 72 billion cedi targeted revenue is expected to be spent on interest payments for this year alone. Senior economic analyst at Data Bank Research, Courage Mate, tells us that there is hope for some savings and loans companies to be made on the budget by government.
Interest is going down. Government's new debts should be coming at a cheaper and cheaper cost. And if this continues to the end of the year, it would definitely contribute to some savings on the budget for 2021, helping the government to create the needed fiscal space, which has been eaten up significantly by the COVID interventions in 2020. To the extent that interest payments would create some savings for the budget, we also need to look at exchange rate remaining stable, because if exchange rate does not continue to remain stable, this could undermine the decline in interest rate, because there are also external debts to be serviced.
Well, to some other disturbing news, Ghana loses over 5 billion cedis each and every year through tax exemptions. A region, the Institute of Economic Affairs warns government to pass a tax exemption bill to plug a big hole in the tax system. Of course, Ghana loses over 5 billion cedis each and every year. And out of this, a tax consultant and attorney, Alina Chia and Associates, is urging government to take a second look at the tax exemptions regime.
The tax revenue that we collected, wages used up 47%. All the tax revenue we collected, we used 47% of to pay wages. Interest, 46% of it. And the transfers, 31%. Now you'll be wondering, if you add 47% of the tax revenue went to wages, interest 46%, transfers 31%. If you add them up, I get 124%. You'll be wondering why, how can you, this is telling you that all the tax revenue that we collected in 2019 couldn't pay for interest, wages, interest, and those transfers. So you have to, monies that you are getting from elsewhere, of course, this tax revenue, there's non-tax revenue and grants, and the loans. You have to come, use some to top it up, and then use the rest to fund the other things, including capital expenditure.
More than 600,000 cedis has been invested in the WASH sector in both the Ashanti and Central regions in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, 150 schools in Ghana have so far benefited from the initiative by local non-banking financial institutions, Sinapiaba Savings and Loans, and the move is meant to enhance water, sanitation and hygiene projects in the company's business operating communities and educational installations. Prince Apia has more from Kumasi.
In the wake of the coronavirus pandemic, investment in water, sanitation and the hygiene subsector has become very crucial for businesses and organizations. Sinapiaba Savings and Loans, for instance, has invested over 600,000 Ghana cedis in enhancing WASH project in 150 schools in Ashanti and Central regions. Justice Atha is Sinapiaba WASH project manager.
As part of our WASH project, we look at the schools, micro schools in our project, and that is what we call the school wash or edu wash. That's a water, sanitation and hygiene for the schools. And as part of the project, we provide them with polytanks, sanitizers, then Veronica buckets and the washing bowls. And other things like water too is provided for the private schools to help them improve upon the hygiene situation in the schools. With the WASH project so far, we have been able to be of immense training for the schools. We train proprietors, teachers and caterers on hygiene in terms of water, sanitation and hygiene, water-related diseases and poor sanitation and also hygiene, poor hygiene in the schools. And we hope that bringing this logistics will also help them improve what we taught them in the training programs. We are expanding to all the regions in Ghana, all the 16 regions.
Management of the financial institutions say the initiative is imperative to strengthen both schools and community investment avenues in the WASH sector to fight the virus. Eric Ofuebano is head of deposit and marketing at Sinapiaba.
Since last year, we as an institution have been mindful to play our part in ensuring that we curtail the spread of COVID-19 in the best way that we can. Today, what we are doing here is we are not just presenting materials to them in terms of their protocols, but we are also trying to impart knowledge by also donating books that is meant to be used as resource material. So in engaging these schools, we've so far invested over 600,000 Ghana cedis in doing this.
He explained this when the team donated wash items and some books to Royal Shekinah Academy in Apri near Kumasi in the Ashanti region. Cecilia Balfour Edujemfi is the proprietress of the school.
So it's very, in fact, good for us to receive all these things. That's why we are so grateful.
The company, as part of the project, also provides them loans to assist them improve the schools they deal with. Prince Apia reporting.
Well, the power of corporate social responsibility. Away from that, about 10 trade unions have disassociated themselves from a court injunction being pursued by sectional traders at the Kumasi Central Market to halt the Kejetia redevelopment project. Kofi Asare has been interacting with these unions and has come through with this story.
Some traders at the Kumasi Central Market last Friday went to the Human Rights Court praying for an injunction to restrict the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly from demolition about 1,500 lockable shops occupied by the applicants. They are also praying to court to force KMA to properly document their relocation to avoid future implications. But some trade unions are unhappy with the move by their colleagues.
We wish to set the record straight.
They believe the act will impede the progress of the Kumasi redevelopment project. Leader of the 10 unions, Moses Che, spoke to Love News.
For just some few people, whatever reasons, to wake up in the day, to go and secure an injunction depriving the assembly and the country as a whole not to proceed with this project is something that is unheard of. In fact, we must think about the entirety or the bulk traders that are in the central market. So this morning, the purposes and the reason that we held this press conference is to first disassociate ourselves with the 10 groups that were part of the central market trade union, and also to let all Ghanaians and the world at large understand that we are in for the progress of our people.
Some traders who are yet to access space to restart their trade say they will not support the court action.
The
KMA should give us an official statement showing where they will move us to.
We are deliberating on the issue as a union, and KMA has given us a place to trade. We are yet to consider whether to accept the place or not, and you said you are taking the matter to court. We can't take KMA to court because we also like the construction of the new market.
Kofi Asare's report read to you.
You're watching The Marketplace. Let's now bring you some investment advice and money tips from our Money Lab.
Today's budget highlight on Money Lab is about how you can leverage on the budget deficit that was explained or that was announced during the budget reading. Now, budget deficit is simply the gap between the government's revenue mobilization efforts and his expenditure ceilings. In this very particular budget, there is a gap of about 42 billion, and definitely the government will need to finance that through borrowing. The good thing is that the mix of external borrowing and the local market borrowing is going to favor the local market. Simply said, the government is likely to borrow more from the local market than it will be doing outside in a dollar-denominated debt market. So what you can do is to keep an eye on treasury bills and to keep an eye on listed bonds so that you can always buy treasury bills because the government will be coming in there to raise some money. That good thing is that when you buy, then you will not just be giving funds to government, but you also be cashing in on the benefit of the price or the cost of lending that money. So look out for giving money through treasury bills to government so you can also make money on the other end so that your multiple streams increase.
I believe you took down some notes. That's how we end Marketplace. My name is Charles Aite. Many thanks for watching.